You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network. Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.
Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Center, this is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is We're doing live! Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000! My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there. How about roll? Don't chase me, bro! It's a trap! I'm a firing mama. Time to Hey, Charlie, wake up! Oh, God, oh, man.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd to Know Basic Show, airing on Phoenix 92.5 FM and all those other wonderful places on the internet. I'm Cian, and with me this week is Dara. How you doing?
Ahoy!
Ahoy, hoy. So, we're having a very jam-packed episode this week, actually, which 3 minutes ago we didn't, but, you know, that's podcasting. We are airing the same day that DCC is happening, so we're kind of looking forward towards it the night before. Obviously, we're big fans. We had a few, notes and things to add last week, but we still love it. But before we get into all the DCC stuff, and we will be there tomorrow, so look out for us if you're there on Sunday. But before we get into that, I feel like we should do a little follow-up on a story we covered last week, well, me and Kev, and it's just completely exploded since then. We recorded Wednesday last week, and since then, the Willy Wonka show has kind of eaten the internet.
Willy's
I thought it was a local phenomenon,
adventure.
but I've seen cosplayers in America
Willy's
dressing up
chocolate
as it
adventure.
and all that. Dara, you weren't on last week, so
No,
do
I
you want
wasn't.
to tell us what you know and what you've heard and everything?
I'm very, very upset that I missed this last week. But I have to say, it's not Willy Wonka's thing. It's Willy's Chocolate Adventure. We got to make that very clear. They made it very clear. And I'm obsessed with this.
Excuse me. They made it very clear.
Yes, they did.
That you're willing to die on that hill.
No, hold on. I have a couple of things just to say, right? So when you guys were when I was listening back to this last week, because I was editing for the show, obviously, I was like, oh, they're using very I mean, you know, I think Kev called it a scam, and I was just like, oh, you know, I'm going to have to cut this. So I didn't, right? And then it turns out that you guys were completely vindicated.
No. To be fair, it was a bit of a kind of a courtroom thing, because I was erring on the side of heart's in the right place, but too ambitious. And he thought it was a money laundering thing. We were kind of tennis racketing it, you know?
Yeah, this is true. And I mean, the police were called, and, you know, you guys were, well, Kev was proven to be right, you know? But
yes. My optimism was misplaced.
So I'm obsessed with this, right? I think this is the greatest thing ever, right? I think it genuinely, if someone can do this in art, I tell you what, if that place, House of Illuminati, wants to do it in Dublin, I will go and I will buy 4 tickets. You know, I love
you inviting?
All of you guys, obviously.
Or are you going to go 4 times?
We'll all go, and then we'll go 4, and then I'll go 4 times. I think it's the greatest thing ever done by anybody. I hope when we're at Comic Con, someone is dressed as the unknown. Oh my God, why didn't I do that?
Should we recap just a little bit? I doubt that there's anyone who hasn't heard this.
Hold on.
But this is the whole. It was supposed to be like a Willy Wonka interactive chocolate experience thing, and it was a complete shambles, and there was no chocolate there. Big empty warehouse, a miserable Oompa Loompa next to test tubes. Looked like something out of Breaking Bad.
Not Oompa Loompa.
Pages of AI script.
Wonky doodles.
Pardon? You can't just say words and expect me.
No, that's what they're called. They're not called Oompa Loompas. They're called wonky doodles.
By who?
That's what's in the script.
That's in the script.
That's in the script.
So the unknown and the wonky doodles
are in the script. So,
Oh
okay.
my God.
So for anyone that doesn't know, right, Keen is correct. This was marketed as a for all intents and purposes, it was supposed to be a Willy Wonka thing, right? But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was its own thing. There's Willie MacDuff. He was the main character with his wonky doodles in the factory, with the unknown living in the walls, right? So that's
See,
all
this
in
is
the
a
story.
development I didn't know about. So it
This
wasn't
has
even this is a Willy
consumed.
Wonka thing.
This
It
has
was a
consumed
complete
my.
different lore and story.
Yeah, so this has consumed my entire life for the entire week, right? So Madam Web, move over. So,
The wonky doodles are
the
here.
wonky dudes are here, right? So basically, it looks like this guy, because it has been like there's videos all over the place about this, right?
Mm,
But from what I can gather, to boil it down, it looks like this guy, he has done a bunch of AI. Basically, his entire career is AI things, right?
right.
Where he produced like 7 books last year on Amazon, and his website is all AI generated and this, that, and the other, right? So I mean, he really, really likes to abuse AI, and I will use that as in like it is an abuse. Because like it's just like bare basic, no spell check, no reading, just kind of putting it out there and see what happens, right? Now what I will say is like if you are a parent, now Keen, I know you saying the heart was in the right place and you were kind of defending parents of this. Listen, we have a lot of fun here, and we do. But when you see something on the internet, right, and
Mm.
you're like, oh, that looks pretty good. There's a couple of things you can do. One, make sure the website is legitimate, as in like, just Google, is this website legitimate? If there's no real pictures of the event, it's probably something to be concerned about. If they're using random AI generated art, which is very easy to spot, probably a bad idea. And there was just like massive red flags with this thing where I'm just like, how did people not know this was
Well,
what it
see,
was?
you say that, but that's assuming that everyone found this on the internet. Like, I mean, I live near Black Rock, and every now and
Right.
again, they'll put up posters for like a St. Patrick's Day thing in the shopping center. There'll just be one little picture, and parents will go. Parents like a day out. They don't live
And how much
on the internet
and
the
how
way
much
you and I do.
and how
Like, you
much
know?
and how much would that cost, Kane? Like just using that as an example. Don't you don't
Well,
know?
that's a free thing. So I suppose
See,
that is a bad example.
that's
But
okay,
like if I
right?
just saw a poster with one image and it was like a standing thing with loads of text, I'd be
Mm.
like, eh, seems legit. Maybe I wouldn't pay 35 quid for it, but I could see why someone would, you know?
I can't, right? I'm sorry. I'm like, let the buyer beware, obviously, is a thing, but at a certain level, there needs to be some level of ownership on this where it's like, ah, did you not see it?
No, I disagree. I don't think that people scammed should be held responsible for being scammed.
No,
If they
for
were
sure.
lied to, they were lied to.
No, for sure. Yeah, you are not wrong, right? And I will say I do agree with you, but I'm also like this
Well, I mean,
really
you're correct in that you have to be kind of a savvy shopper and all that. Obviously,
just
like, yeah.
no, I mean the level of this, like the actual website makes no sense. It's
But this
just
is what I mean.
nonsense.
I wonder if they got it through the website. Like
It's just
last week, like
complete
was
no.
it at Ticketmaster nearby? They have those booths in the UK and all that, you know?
Maybe,
Like,
maybe, but like I just that's the bit that I can't really get over, right?
hmm,
But obviously parking that for the time being. But what happened was, so there's the cast have come out, the people actually involved with it, who again, look, they can't be blamed for it. It really wasn't their fault. They're a bunch of actors. Keen, you know a lot of actors. I know a lot of actors. They were offered a job, and they were like, "Oh, we're getting like paid I think it was £600 for the day, which is pretty good actually."
it's very
Uh,
good, yeah.
now it turns out a lot of them didn't get paid, so
Yes, well,
that
that is
that
the
that's
the risk, yeah.
that's very unfortunate. But so they took it, and apparently, like there was loads of different issues from the get-go. Obviously, the costumes were what they were, uh, and the script, they were handed a 15-page script to learn in a day. Now that's tough
Yes,
to do.
actually, I want to follow up on that because I kind of went to bat for the show because I've
Right.
done, funnily enough, I have done a live interactive chocolate themed show before for kids with 15-page script. I didn't realize they had to learn it in one day.
Yeah, so
That was shocking.
apparently they were brought in for a fitting. Usually, the fittings are done the day before or on real productions like a couple of months before.
Yeah.
For Game of Thrones, for example, I think my fitting was 2 months, like a month beforehand, and then we were brought up to shoot. So that's usually what they would do, and then smaller productions, obviously it varies. But this was like the day before, and then you're brought in your hand like this 15-page script, and the script
Again,
is
not in isolation. It's not the weirdest thing in the world. I did the St. Patrick's Day parade once, and they gave you your costumes in the hotel the night before. Like,
I believe that,
depending on the thing, not a flag on its own. You know?
No, absolutely not. No, I think like a lot of this, it's like cumulative. You know,
Yes,
the next
absolutely.
kind of, like the script itself is complete nonsense. No, it is online. I've read it. It's
online.
Oh, it's online. Yeah.
Oh, goody.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Can we do a dramatic reading?
I really want to. Please, can we do
episode?
that? The next episode, yeah. Can we? That would be incredible.
Will I get some actors?
Yes. Oh my God, please, yes. Yes, King, do not tease me with this. Yes, please. Oh, there you go, folks. We're gonna do that. We're going to do a live reading with actors of the script. Oh my God, what
Who
an
do
idea.
you want to be?
I don't know yet. I'm too excited. The answer is the unknown, but the unknown has no lines.
Fine.
So
you can read the stage directions.
Oh yes, okay, brilliant. Okay, I want to be the unknown stage directions. All right, so like the script itself is complete nonsense. It's random gobbledygook, and it looks like it was actually written, and it probably was more than likely. I'm gonna go on record and say it 100% was, but I can't obviously prove that.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, from what I've read, from what the actor said, it does look like that's what it was done. So what I think happened here is they popped up an AI program and typed in, write me a script for a Willy Wonka based children's interactive event. And that's what they did, and they got it right. So that's where we were. That was the setup. So you're working there. The actors knew straight off the bat when they went in, they're like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And you know what? They tried to do the best that they could do. And I think that's one of the really, really great things about these people involved with it, because they were like, look, it's nonsense. It's bad. We're probably not going to get paid, but let's try and
because they've arrived the day before, haven't they? And they're in it, and they can't leave.
They can't leave. The contracts apparently were signed and all that stuff, so they kind of had to do it. And they're like, look,
sorry, I cannot stress this enough. Contracts spelled with 2 O's.
Probably, I don't know that.
Contracts.
I don't. That would not shock me if the contracts are AI generated.
No. Your man said it in an interview.
Really,
the Willy Wonka actor. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See, I don't think that would stand up in court, but still, okay. Again, that probably confirms that it was AI generated as well. So
yeah.
I think from start to finish, everything in this was AI generated, and what I love about it, like, unironically, all right, is that this is the first time in history so far that AI has tried to make the jump into the real world.
You're right, actually. It is a bit of a moment in history.
It is a moment in history, and that's why it's so bizarre, because it's like,
imagine if all those people, the SAG-AFTRA people, were striking and losing money for months and months, and it was this that broke the back of AI. How amazing would that be?
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of a shame that this didn't come first, because they were like, hey,
it would have saved everyone a lot of time.
It would have saved everybody a lot of time and effort. It's like, do you really want AI? Because this is what happens, and you just show the unknown.
No, AI is going to replace all the writers in Hollywood. Here comes the unknown.
Look, here's one that you might not know. Do you know that the unknown is going to be a movie?
What?
Yeah, they're making a horror movie based on the unknown.
See, I worry that your man who scam people is going to somehow make money off this.
Here's the thing, like, this is why I'm saying, if he was actually smart, right, or if I was in his position, or if anyone with a tiny bit of like business logic that isn't just putting stuff in AI and then hoping for the best, which is genuinely what this guy seems to have done. And now again, we don't know. I'm just kind of going off this by the different reports I've seen, with different videos and people actually tracking them down. Like Copyzilla and stuff has even got into this, so it is a whole thing you can look into.
Well, I mean, you can kind of tell by the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what AI looks like, and I can tell it looks AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everything he's ever done has been AI, right?
Yeah.
But if I was in his position, I would be like, right, I'm going to own this and then actively take this around the country, sell the movie rights. They're calling it the Fire Festival of, like, you guys call it DashCon. No, this is way more than DashCon. This is the Fire Festival of children's light entertainment, right? I would go to this. This is wonderful. Like, here's the thing. If DCC are listening for summer, bring this to DCC. That's where you do it. You know, already had the wrestling 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Bring this. Have Willy's Chocolate Adventure DCC. That's what I would go.
I have seen cosplayers as the unknown and the
I
ultimate.
wish
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not gonna lie, DCC kind of creeped up on me this year.
Yeah.
And if I had have had, if this had been like a little bit further out, this, I would have went as the unknown. I think summer that might happen.
Well, look, I mean, we were recording this the Friday
I love
night
it.
before. They got fitted the night before. What's your excuse?
You have me there. You really do. I don't know where I'm going to get like a silver mask and a mirror in like 11 hours.
I'll have a look in the cupboard.
Oh my God, I love it so much. But no, I have to say, like, it's the time to strike now. If your man is like actively trying to make money on this, like legitimately, now's the opportunity. We've gone full circle here, where everybody can actually make money on this, and it probably will be an event. But eventually people will lose interest in this. But it's amazing. Nobody saw it coming. When you guys were talking about it last week, I was like, oh my God, we're in, we need to be careful.
Just to clarify, you didn't discover this through us, did you?
I did. I literally did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I literally did. Yeah.
But there you go. We thought the story was going to be gone by the time, but like long before the episode even went out.
No, it
exploded by then.
No, it exploded after the show went up.
Yeah.
It's wild. Not saying that we were responsible for it.
No. But like, it's as a time capsule of, we've got this weird little novelty thing, and then it blew up. Like, I found about this story through my dad texting me an article about it. That's how bizarre, like, the journey of this has been, like,
No way. That's so wild. I mean, look, it's one of the things that as cross generations, it has become just one of the touchstones of like, I don't know, of like entertainment, where these things happen so rarely. The DashCon is obviously one you guys are spot on about. The Fire Festival was one. Woodstock 99 was one. But this one is...
Woodstock 99 was like messy though.
It was messy, but I mean, like, things that you hear about and just become...
The legendary kind of event flops.
Exactly. Like, what's weird about this is it's so local. Like, I mean, if this had just been bad, right, where a bit more effort had been put in here or there, or if the unknown wasn't there, if they had just ironically, if they had have actually just tried to rip off Willy Wonka as is, probably nobody would have cared about it. They would have been like, listen, give me my money back. This is terrible. But the fact it's so bizarre, like from start to finish, it was AI generated, and it's so random and so weird, and you're like, this is just unbelievable. It's a perfect storm. It's beautiful almost. Like, I look, I know everybody else is taken by it, but so am I. And I think that's why. It's just the weirdness of finally seeing AI make something in its entirety.
It's like when Agent Smith tries to leave the Matrix and become a person or something like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's happened. Like, no one is going to come up with the unknown. What is wrong with you? No one's gonna, like, the wonky doodles with their Met Lab, and it's just, everything about it is just so bizarre and weird that the actual event itself is almost secondary to these like moments where AI is almost sentient. And I just think that's incredible. And that's why it's weird, folks, because computers don't understand what the appeal of children's entertainment. They think they want the unknown, which they're wrong. I want the unknown. Maybe not children, though, because a lot of them cried.
My favorite aspect of that is, again, going back to the interview. I've seen a few interviews now, but going back to the Willy Wonka. What was his character's name? Willy
McDuff.
Willy McDuff. Going back to the Willy McDuff character, my favorite thing from his interview was the idea was that the unknown would show up and he would defeat the unknown with a Hoover. Sort of a magic Hoover.
No. He'd defeat, you're half right. He would defeat the unknown with a graffiti removal gobstopper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he read this in the script, and on the day he was like, where's this thing? And they go, oh, we don't have it, just improvise.
Yeah.
How? What are you gonna do? Like, what a hero. I think he did there were like several actors lined up to play that character, and he did 4 hours. Like, I've done gigs like that. It starts stressful. You enter that sort of, I can't believe I'm doing this bewildered thing, and then it just goes back to being stressful again.
All I'm saying is,
you can imagine with children involved,
all I'm saying is, look, there's going to be less children at DCC. There's always a few, but it's not a children's event, really. I would say.
I disagree. I
No,
think
no,
that
no,
it's
hold on,
becoming
hold
a
on, hold on.
very
No,
family-centric thing.
yeah, no, I know, but I'm not saying like it's not solely aimed at children. This was, right?
Mm.
What I'm saying is the audience that this should have been for
Right.
was not children, right? This
Yes.
this was
Yes.
not this was not a children's audience thing. This is a weird Comic Con thing. This is a thing that you do. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when you had the horror escape room at Comic Con. That's where you do this. You don't like, 'cause
No, I wish I'd known about that one.
yeah, yeah, it was really, really good. They did it one year, many years ago. I think it was like 2017. But they that's where they should have done this. But again, it wasn't done. There was no goodness in this. There was no creativity. It was like, let's just generate something, hope for the
Yeah.
best, and maybe no one will complain. And obviously that's probably where it would have ended and begun if it had just um been like a straight off rip off. But because it's so weird, I do genuinely think that there is something here for probably for another couple of months. I think definitely by
Yeah.
summer, and I think by Halloween, you're going to see a lot of the unknowns of Halloween, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to answer your question, is it unfortunate this guy will make money out of it? Yeah, probably if he's smart about it. Now, obviously, that's up in the air. But look, if anyone's listening who runs a Comic Con event, runs like a smaller Comic Con even event, like an anime con or something, do that here, do that there. Like I think like DCC would be great because there are kids, there are adults, there's teenagers. Just having like the meme magic there would be really, really cool. But it's obviously too late to do it. But maybe it's summer.
Yeah. But you've hit what I was gonna talk on there, the meme magic. I hope there isn't like a film and stuff. Because like it's a bit like, the way literally the second the Winnie the Pooh rights and the Steamboat Willie rights went up, someone made a horror movie out of it. It's like you don't want to push a joke so far
Yeah.
that it stops being funny.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like I like the thing about it is a film based on the unknown is lame. A film based on this whole thing, that's what you do. And that's what I'd want to see.
Sorry, I muted the button. Sorry, like a disaster artist, like that kind of thing.
Or even like there was like 2 or 3 good films about Fire Festival. Actually kind of going in and deep diving into it. I think that'd be really, really good.
A documentary would be class, yeah.
Yeah, and look, again, like this genuinely could be something that is a goer as far as like it's taken around the country. Like here's how you make it right. Everyone involved. Now, here's the thing: some people are like horrifically embarrassed by it and never want to talk about it again, or never want to be associated.
Reasonable,
fine.
yes.
I mean, we find it really funny, but again, these people were in it, so you kind of have to walk that line and respect that. But
Yes.
here's what I would do, right? I would literally go to those people and go, listen, if you want to be involved, you can. Here's a proper contract spelled correctly this time, and you'll get paid X amount. We're going to take this around. You could take this around the world. If this was put together correctly, you could actually take this around the world and like go to all the cons in Ireland, England, and America. You'd make an absolute killing with it. But obviously there'd have to be certain things put in place for it, but to protect the actors.
Yes.
That's what you do. And I think it would be a massive hit. Now, will that happen? Absolutely no way, because this guy still it's probably moved on to his next AI generated endeavor.
Unless he like changes his name, I don't see how he could though. Do you know what I mean?
Look, apparently last year or 2 years ago, again from CoffeeZilla, he wrote a bunch of books that were like super like edgy and stuff about like all different conspiracy theories. So I mean, it's not. He's kind of tried everything, and then he tried like a make yourself rich books as well, which were also written by AI. So like, look, God loves a trier, and he's really been trying this AI thing for a while. It looks like he's hit gold.
But he hasn't been trying. The AI has been trying. You know what I mean?
True.
Like
that's very, very true. But like, yeah, I think he has genuinely hit gold here. He just needs to figure out how to actually do it legitimately, which, depending on how angry those parents are, he might actually be able to do it because they seem very, very upset. I don't know if you've seen
as I would be too. I don't want like I was obviously I have 2 kids, like, and I was out like during work, like just had someone in front of me in the queue with a kid getting upset because the chocolate bar was wrong or something. There's nothing more stressful than being in a public arena with upset children. And that's before you add into it the financial kind of embarrassment and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not going to lie to you, Kane. Like, obviously I don't have kids, right? But if I was at this, I'd be like, this is the single best thing ever. I'd go back and buy another ticket.
Oh well, if you insist on using AI, get a photo of all those upset kids and you with the massive grin and the thumbs up in the background somewhere.
I don't know. I just love the charm with it. It's like he did try it a little bit and then just didn't, and you're just like, oh, I don't know. The unknown itself is like wonderful. Like just everything needs the unknown. You're watching like Friends and the unknown just appears randomly. You know.
Would you like to, before we move on, would you like to describe what the unknown looks like as we're not in a visual medium?
I think it's better if you like Google it. But okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, the unknown is like this figure with its silver mask on, like black wild hair,
Mm.
and like just a black kind of cloak, and then holding like a mirror, and then basically the figure just moves the mirror and then comes out and like crawls out and crawls back in. Uh, and apparently that is the actor's real hair as well. So it's like fair play.
Okay,
But
now we're getting into like Ed Wood territory.
see, this is the thing. It's so like it's so incredible that I don't even think the guy realizes what, or even some of these people realize what they have. It's proper Ed Wood. Like, see, I love Ed Wood, right? I think the movie's really good. His own movies not so much, but
Yeah.
Pan 9 for Outer Space is pretty fun. And I'm like, oh, you've hit on this wonderful nexus of like bizarre happenstance that was born from something that probably wasn't that great, but now you do have something legitimately great with it. Yeah, so that's what the unknown looks like, and there's like fan art, there's like people obviously cosplay. Like, here's the thing: if I see an unknown tomorrow, I'm gonna run over and get a picture with you because holy hell, well done. And at
Go
Comic
to Art
Con
and
next
Hobby,
year, I
get
will.
some silver paint. They have paper masks there.
I haven't.
Um,
No, Keen. No, no. I'm gonna put some time into it. I'm gonna put more than one day into it because I know they
That's
didn't, but
not
I
really in the
wanted.
spirit of the thing, you know?
No, that's true too. That's true
This
too.
isn't about effort.
For summer, I will. For summer, I will.
Okay, all right.
But here's the thing, folks. If you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh, come on, get over it, guys," well, we will after we do a script reenactment of it because that's going to happen. We are going to do that and put it on our feed.
It's, you know what? It would have been impossible with the timing, but what a great panel it would have made.
Oh, really would have been great, wouldn't it? Well, I mean, we could have done it like in the spirit of it. A panel would have been actually all right, but
We may do it spontaneously tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. I'll be dressed as Hades, which is not too far off the unknown anyway with the black
no,
skirt.
that's true. That's true. You just need to find a mirror. And
But
like,
anyway, that's a good a segue as anyway. DCC.
yes,
We've been to it many times. We've
yes,
talked about it many times.
yes.
But it's on today, I suppose, in the convention center. So it'll be going for one more day by the time this airs on Sunday. We're kind of veterans at this point. But is there anything you're excited about for tomorrow, Dara?
I mean, the thing about it is, it's like it's important to remember that like DCC runs twice a year and it didn't used to.
Mm.
Summer is obviously the big one, and they used to do Anime Con in spring, which I actually preferred. I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, we go to DCC, we support it. It's always a very good experience. I did like the anime focused element of the one in spring. I will be honest with you, and I do miss that. Someone said DC is getting too bro heavy. I think that's like if you think that fine, I think that's really silly.
That was a friend of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really silly. And the only reason why it's like broad appeal is not really a bad thing, and making something more accessible to more people is also not a bad thing. At the end of the day, it's a business, and they need to make money, or else there's no Comic Cons. So I do get again. Look, GTA. There's a lot of GTA folks coming. There's like a lot of like
Yeah, well,
Call
let's
of
get
Duty
into
and stuff.
that because, like, I was getting my hair cut the other day,
Right.
and I had the very novel experience of sitting. The radio was on, and as the usual, in the hairdressers, and hearing an ad for Dublin Comic Con.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
It was
Like,
great that it was getting out there. It's
yeah,
lovely that more people are getting into it. But
yeah,
I
no,
also had this terribly insecure feeling I'm not proud of
mm.
that someone has found my treehouse.
No,
You know what I
Keen.
mean? Like,
No, 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 no. Listen.
I know you're meant to share, but there was a tiny little bit of me that just felt that protectiveness, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. And look, the thing about it is, right, you forget I'm in a metal band, right?
Mm.
And my entire life has been this struggle where a band you really like You see them, and then they get huge, and then
Yeah.
so that is kind of the struggle. It's called the Metallica syndrome, right?
Oh, I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, it literally happened to Metallica in the 90s. They were like this small band and became the biggest band in the world, and people started hating them for it, right? And it's like, I do understand that, but what I'll say is, right, DCC is like the WrestleMania of Irish cons, right? It is the
Right.
biggest con, but and WrestleMania in and of itself really isn't for wrestling fans. It's for a wider, broader appeal to get people into wrestling. This is to get people into the idea of cons, right? And the thing about this is, the more people that go to cons, the more of them there will be, right? Because they'll spring up about different things, and we've seen that. Like there's Gamer Fest or whatever, and there's a few other things around the country that just didn't exist that kind of match the scale. But if your concern is, oh, I want my anime convention back, which I mean, look, again, I really liked the anime convention, but no one went. There were like a couple of people, and that was it. This will be packed because it has a much wider appeal. What I would say is, listen, again, go to smaller conventions. I really like KazukaCon. We've applied to go. Hopefully we'll be able to. JCon is phenomenal. I also really like JCon. Shuricon. There's so many of these around that still exist. But what I'd say is, if your mindset is, oh, it's too bro heavy, that I don't know what to say to that. But
No, it's I mean, you are correct, and I should clarify that I was also fascinated listening to what was advertised in the ad, because they said
go on, yeah.
people from One Piece,
Yeah.
people from Baldur's Gate 3, people from Futurama, people from Battlestar Galactica, people kind of stuff. It's like, wow, the range of things that Comic-Con now encompasses is so big.
And that's what I'm trying.
Like, it's great that it's like bringing in lots of different communities and stuff.
And that's what it's all about. And
yeah.
genuinely, that's what it's all about. Because, like, if they, you have to think about this from a business perspective, right? GTA is the most successful video game of all time, right? I don't particularly like GTA, right? I have no interest in any of those lads, right? Really don't. Someone will. Someone will have played GTA for 95 hours, will go solely for that, pay this €50 for a selfie or 35 for a photograph, and then be like, cheers, mate, and that's it, right? That's what they want. They want people to show up, and they want a wider appeal. If you keep something incredibly niche, it's only ever going to be incredibly niche. And yeah, look, I mean, look, some stuff might be distasteful to someone, particularly, like Call of Duty gamers, stereotypically or whatever, that might have some negative connotations. And all I say is, if that is you, it's still Comic-Con. Guess what? Go to the comics. There's going to be nobody there. That's where I go. Nobody goes to. Nobody gets more upset by that stuff than me, because, or should I say, I used to, because I really like Comic-Con for the comics. Nobody goes to the comics. I was at MCM last year, the quietest place in that massive sea of people, in that massive event in London. I was the only person at the comics.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And nobody goes. And here's the thing, I could do one or two things. I could be like, oh, isn't it terrible that people are here for anime or cosplay or whatever? They should be here at the Comic-Con. Or be like, this is pretty awesome. I could look through all these comics and no one else is here. And I think that's a much better way, because you can still find your people, you can still find your tribe at these things. And that for me, that's always what DCC will be. We'll always try to go. We'll very often, when I remember, try to do a panel, because obviously we missed the deadline by like 5 days, which was annoying. But we'll try to do a panel at it, and we'll always find people who find us. And for me, that's what's great about DCC. There's always something for everybody, and there always will be. And the bigger it gets, the more of them there'll be, and the wider the appeal will go. The only downside is tickets fly out really fast. But then again, they have to make money, because they don't make money, they won't do them.
Yeah. I'm looking through the website, by the way. There seems to be a very healthy amount of comic book artists there.
For sure, yeah. There's loads of them. Yeah.
Is there anyone you're excited to see at the convention?
Super Eye Patch Wolf.
Yes, of course. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. He's like obviously long-term listeners of both the Rewind and this show know how big of a fan we all are of him.
Yes, but for separate things, which is kind of cool in and of itself.
Well, he's someone who has crossover appeal in and of himself.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I'm really looking forward to. Thank you for reminding me, because he isn't listed among the celebrity guests. He's among the artists, so I can't even find his face on the website. So thank you for pointing that out to me.
Well, see, that's what I mean. That's someone incredibly niche. That if you know him, you know him. But then at the same time, you're not going to promote him above Declan Shalvey or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then, like, as far as to answer your question with the guests that I'm looking forward to see, as I said, look, there isn't really anybody there I want to meet. There's actually Don DiMago I will meet, and I'll get him to sign my Vampire the Masquerade game. No, literally, that's my plan because I love Vampire the Masquerade, and that's what I want him because he's one of the main characters in it. So I'm actually going to get him to sign that. So that's one of the guys I'm going to meet. And looking forward to meeting as well. There's a Power Ranger there. No, I didn't watch.
Alison Kimberman Sullivan.
Yeah, I didn't watch Wild Force, so I might meet her. And Declan Shalvey I've met like hundreds of times. So yeah, like you go to comic book conventions and you will meet him. But there's a good mix. What about you?
No, well, actually, it's kind of our big one, which is this is heartbreaking, but we were most excited for Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
and
that's
Stevie
true.
even has because we're big Rocky fans in this house,
Yes.
and my wife even has his boxing gloves. We're going to get them signed.
Oh,
So I told her, and then that afternoon, like, you know, it's the news went out, and that was really heartbreaking. So that was a real shame. But I am still excited to see Mark Shepard, who is a veteran of like every single sci-fi property under the sun. Mostly people will know him being Crowley from Supernatural. Like, it's really that is actually a fun thing for me. I love going to the panels with the celebrity guests are free.
yes.
And I love discovering like who knows them from where. Because like I went to the Michelle Gomez one this time last year, and everyone there was asking about, you know, Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Doom Patrol and all these kind of things. I know him from like Doctor Who and from Battlestar Galactica and like all this kind of stuff. So it's cool. It's cool to get that sense of like community in the room from lots of different places. I'll be honest, I said this last week. I'm a huge fan of John DiMaggio. I imagine the queue will be miles long.
Yes, I think so too.
I won't give up the day to meet him, but I am a huge fan. I'll definitely go to his panel and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
thank you for reminding me that Super Eye Patch Wolf is there because I love his stuff to bits.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
But yeah, and just to kind of give a rundown, there's people from Grand Theft Auto, lots of Grand Theft Auto representation actually.
Look, to be fair, it is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, and Baldur's Gate obviously is the biggest thing in the world. Emily Rudd from the recent One Piece Netflix thing, which proved that you can adapt an anime to live action successfully, despite all evidence to the contrary. And loads of comic book artists. So yeah, I mean, look, this is because we kind of alluded to this earlier with the family thing. Like for the first time, my wife's nephew is coming along to it, having been excited to go for ages. He's made his first cosplay. We'll be going more for the atmosphere, for the free things you can take photos of the ground floor.
Yes.
For the video game things. For me personally, my little ritual, I love getting 2 or 3 Lego figures for a tenner, because otherwise you'd have to fork out 70 quid to buy a whole set. I like doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, atmosphere, cosplay, we're all going as the Moana family, but I'm going as Hades because I'm awkward. So the rest of them will be Moana people. We just love the whole atmosphere and buzz of it. And there's people, despite how big it is now, you still bump into people you only see at Comic-Con. And I do like that intimacy to it, you know?
Yeah, like the Comic-Con is still going to be Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You know, like no matter how big it gets, even if it gets as big as the ones in London, which I still haven't seen the end of that because it just keeps going.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like MCM in London in the XL is huge. Like it's about 10 times the size of Dublin Comic Con. It's massive. And I was there for 2 days and I still didn't reach the end of the hall. Right? Not even a joke. That's how big it is, right? And even still, that was Comic Con. So I'm saying that if anyone is upset about it's getting too big, it's getting too mainstream, good. We wanted to be mainstream. If we didn't, what's the point? You know?
Well, I mean, just to put those concerns kind of in some context, when I mentioned that anecdote, what they were referring to is, I think the August one last year was very Halo centric, very like kind of they had the Terminator guest there and all that kind of stuff. And the stars that they choose bring with them their communities of fans. And I'm not saying anything about any particular fandom, but it does kind of set the tone for the people who are there and the people who interact with and all that kind of stuff. And if every guest was like from like Call of Duty or this or that or the other, then it would influence the mood of the day. Now, that wasn't even true of August because, like, the woman who played Cortana is also Princess Peach, which is incredibly wholesome. But I can see why, like, this feels like a very anime-centric or video game-centric convention because of the people who are there, because people who turn up dressed like them. And if that's what you see all day, that's what the theme of it becomes. It's a knock-on effect, you know?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
you don't think so, no?
No, the reason why, like, I do get that concern, but I'll be honest with you. I went to MCM. I didn't even know the guests that were there. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter because people go to cons for the con. You know, here's the thing. If I didn't meet anyone, I wouldn't really care. Because it's the atmosphere you're going to. And it's still Comic Con. Like you know, it's like going to a wrestling show. People going to a wrestling show, so it's gonna be a wrestling show. You know, it's the same thing. I understand some of it. I just think some of it is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit pearl clutching for no reason. Like just because it has Terminator, which to be fair, the main character in Terminator, Sarah Connor, is, you know.
Oh, the God bless those heroes who had to go up being the cast of Terminator and not talk about Terminator.
I know, right? I know, right?
I mean,
it was
they
funny.
deserve medals for that.
It was funny. But like the thing about it is,
It
it's
was
like
not. Are you joking me?
I thought it was funny.
I felt so bad for everyone who went up to ask a question, not about. I was at the Christina Chong's one, and we're like, now can we have questions? And we're like, what can we ask?
You see, that's the thing. It's just like, here's the thing. Again, that's a case of just poor timing. And you know, it kind of is what it is. But to kind of put this in some context, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
it's that like the people going, I get it, but like you're not going to. Like, I'm still trying to understand that concern. But what I'd say is, if you're limited to just the guests that are going, you're missing out on an aspect.
Yes, that is true. That is
you know,
true.
It's just not, again, like there for years, like for a good stretch there when I went to Comic, I didn't even see the guests. I didn't even know who was there because I just went just because there's the trading hall, there's the people. You know, as you said correctly, King, you run into people who you haven't seen in a long time, and I think like the whole experience is there to offer something for everybody because it's so big, and it's so like overstimulating as well in lots. Like I don't know what your post-con come down is, but you know when you've been there since like 11 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock and you're just like, I need to leave for like,
dude, last time I was there in a giant cardboard Bowser shell and head.
Exactly. And
I'm going to work on Monday. I know the feeling.
Well, here's another thing as well that I will say, right? Just say you're in that position where you're like, none of these guests appeal to me, and this is the point I'm getting at, or the guests are not to your taste or whatever. One of the places you can go, and it's always really good, is the Geek Ireland panel rooms.
Yes.
That for me, that's where I like to go for, like, even more than the guests. The guests are great and they are really good, and I know there's people there that want to meet, but just say it's a lighter year, just say there's nobody who you like and you still want to go. Meet your friends, go to the panel rooms. The reason why I'm saying is that's where you'll meet local talent. That's where you'll meet us usually. That's where you'll meet some great podcasters. Shout out to Blabber the Hut. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, and Sean the Dino guy, who always I've been meaning to bring him on here for ages. He always puts on a great show.
Absolutely, and that's one thing we're going to do. We're going to try bring on some more local talent from the Geek Ireland panel rooms onto this show, because they're the real stars of Comic Con for me. Because that's where I discover new podcasts, new talent, new local comic book guys as well. They're all there, you know, and it's just about digging under the surface and really kind of embracing the fact that this is not just the trading hall. It's not just Artist Alley, which again, Artist Alley's phenomenal. There's some great artists there. Shout out to Not the Beads.
She's class.
And there's just so many great artists there that you can actually go in and discover. So look, if you are in that sense, you're like, oh, I don't really like GTA, I don't really like Halo or Baldur's Gate or anything like that. Go anyway. Meet some new people, bring a deck, go and play Magic the Gathering because I think it's on the third floor again. And go into the panel rooms and actually just start meeting your own tribe. And that is my sell. And that's why I'm just, you know, I don't buy the whole guests make the atmosphere. They don't. You make the atmosphere.
No, I don't think they make the atmosphere, but I do think they influence the tone. Like,
I don't think so. It influences the tone if you wanted to. Okay. If you wanted to. If you're going in with this has to be an anime convention or I'm not going to like it, go to an anime convention. If you're going in with it, this is the WrestleMania of cons in Ireland, go in. Because here's the thing, man. When you're watching WrestleMania, guess what? It's not about the wrestling. It's about giving an overview of wrestling as an idea for the mainstream. And that's what this is.
Okay. All right. Well, you've certainly got me excited for tomorrow now.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left. So I'd like to bring up something completely out of the blue.
Go for it.
Which is that I noticed a few outlets, including Geek Ireland, celebrating slight asterisks the fact that the Watchmen film by Zack Snyder is 15 years old. And so much ink has been spilled about, DC and Zack Snyder and all that since then that it's kind of quaint thinking about Watchmen back in the day. So I wanted to talk about it very briefly before this episode is over. Like, what are your kind of thoughts on the book and the film and all that kind of stuff?
It's funny. I actually watched Watchmen, the movie, the first time in a very long time there over Christmas randomly.
Okay.
And it's been a while since I actually sat down. I think it's like 10, 12 years. A very long time anyway, since I sat down and watched the movie. And I always liked the movie.
Okay.
I always thought it was phenomenal. I always thought it was ahead of its time. Obviously the graphic novel is great. The ending of the graphic novel is like the actual incident that where the octopus alien comes down. That's a bit terrible. So the rewrite in the movie, excuse me, is so much better. I always thought that was very clever the way they changed it up. The director's
I understand it. I don't fully agree with it though.
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, but sorry, I interrupted you. You finished first. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the optimal way to watch it really is the director's cut with the Black Freighter put into it.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like 6 hours or something. But that's the way I like to watch that movie. And I look, it does have its problems, absolutely. It's incredibly violent, like extremely violent. But so was the source material. I think it's one of the most accurate, on point depiction of an Alan Moore book to exist. It's better than V for Vendetta. V for Vendetta is great anyway, but for different reasons.
No, I disagree. I could write an essay about that. I think
that's
V
fair.
for Vendetta is much stronger than The Watchmen.
Oh, that's totally fair. But again, what I was going to say on that is it also comes down to which do you prefer? Like, right, if you prefer Zack Snyder's filmmaking chops, which I actually do, it's much more palatable. If you like the way the Wachowskis make movies, which I also like, but I actually kind of like the both. But for some reason, Watchmen just hooks me. I think it's because there's more of it. That's probably why it gets a slight edge. It's not by much, Keen. I like them very much the same, but it's not by much. And I'd say it's just the final point that I want to make, because I want to give you time to speak, is that the Watchmen arrived too early. If the Watchmen had come out now, at the end of the superhero boom, it would be like Logan. That's
a fair point. Yeah,
I think that is the point.
I think if you released it later, and especially because there's now a real interest in 80s stuff, I think that could have worked really well. Yeah.
It's too ahead of its time. It came out. I think it came out just around the same time as The Dark Knight, maybe a little bit before,
like a year before, I think. Yeah,
was it? Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, we weren't ready for that movie yet.
If you did it at like the tail end of the DC universe, funnily enough, I think it would hit very hard. Yeah.
It would. Yeah, if that came out now, when people are sick of comic movies, there's been so many bad ones, and they're looking for a deconstruction of it or some kind of relief. Now is the time to here's the thing. Warner Brothers re-release the movie. See what happens. I think you will capture that audience. I think this is a movie, unlike V for Vendetta, which I think went into people's psyche a lot more. And it's one of the reasons I actually did a history degree in college is because of that movie. But Watchmen didn't. Watchmen just went down as a failure because it was too early.
I don't think it was an out-and-out flop, but here's my take on it. I love both books. I read books, both of them once a year, I'd say. Right. I think the Watchmen movie is more exact in its plotting, but I think V for Vendetta gets the spirit of the book better, even though it plays looser with the structure. And this is my take on it. You said that Watchmen is very violent, and it is, the movie and the book. The difference is, when you read the book, the violence is very understated and very blunt. It's not showy. It's like there's, apart from maybe like the one panel where like Ozymandias knocks out the assassin, like usually it's just people get hit and it looks like jam, and sometimes it's like it's usually small panels where the violence happens, and it's like a very big moment. Whereas with Watchmen, I feel like the violence is very sensational.
Mm.
Like the example that always sticks out to me, and I'll be sensitive because it's on at 5, but there's a guy who gets his hands stuck through the jail cell because that's what Rorschach does. And in the book, your man kills him with a knife. And in the movie, it's a chainsaw and it's all in detail and it's all close up. Or like, a man gets hot fat thrown over his face. In the book, it's like one panel. You don't even see his face. In the movie, they hold on it for like 30 seconds. And I just feel like with Watchmen, the movie, they don't get that the stuff the superheroes are doing isn't good or cool. And that's the subtle distinction. I think the book is trying to illustrate that when someone gets hit in a superhero story, it's not flashy. There's no Adam West stuff. It's just blunt and ugly and a lot smaller and immediate. And it goes for the nudity too. What's his name? The blue character, Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan
walks around naked, and it's a very understated naked. And it's very, in the book, and it's very showy in the film, It's just like everything that is kind of understated in the book is overstated in the wrong way in the movie. And it doesn't ruin the movie necessarily, but I think it muddles the message that Watchmen was trying to get across in the first place. But interestingly, none of the dialogue has changed from the book. So it's a very subtle distinction. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think it comes down to how you perceive the book and your reading of it as well. Because Alan Moore is always going to come from both sides of it. I would agree with you to an extent, but it's not a Garrett Ennis book. If it was a Garrett Ennis book, I would 100% agree with you. Like, The Boys is terrible comic. It's really bad. I actually hate The Boys.
I've seen YouTubers flag that The Boys, the comic series.
Oh, it's awful. I gave it away. I gave it away.
Denser, like in a bad way. Like,
yeah. I actually gave away my entire collection of The Boys. It was that bad. And see, I don't think there's that cynicism in Alan Moore's book where it's like it's bad. There's a lot more in Watchmen. How much time do we have?
You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, look, there's a lot more. There's a lot of different levels with the Watchmen, which is why I think it's worth kind of digging into a lot more than it has. And the more that you get in Alan Moore's book, obviously, is as a dialogue isn't changed, it's just how it's shot.
Yeah.
Is there a case for another cut? Yeah. Is there a case for a remake? Probably. The TV show was I just didn't like it all. I thought that completely missed the point.
Just do Watchmen as a 12-episode TV series. I don't get why people haven't.
Yeah,
I guess money, but like.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, the thrown away Rings of Power, like.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what I'd say to do, and to end that point, I'd say there is still room for a Watchmen miniseries. There is more Watchmen. Like Doomsday Clock came out a couple of years ago, and that's a phenomenal book. Have you read Doomsday Clock?
I haven't, no, unfortunately.
You should. You really should. You'd really like it. It's a phenomenal kind of linking of DC and Batman and Watchmen and stuff. What I'm saying to you is there is still room for the Watchmen, and it just needs the right story. And here's the thing: you could do if DC wants to, they could do Watchmen again as a 12-part miniseries, and then do Doomsday Clock as a 12-part miniseries. I think that would be really interesting.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, because you have somewhere else to be,
I do.
We are just at time. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap?
No, but thank you all for listening. If you guys see us at Comic Con, please do come over and say hey. And if you want to book us at Comic Con, even if it's a local Comic Con, we'd love to be there. You can go to nerdtoknowmedia@gmail.com or nerdtoknowmedia.com and contact us that way.
Awesome. Well, we will, if you're at Comic Con, we will see you there either the Saturday or the Sunday. If you're listening to this, maybe you're there. Who knows? But either way, I've been Cian.
And Dar.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
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 All right, so you're listening to the podcast. You're like, hey, I'm not in Ireland. How do I get in touch? Well, TuneIn has you covered. That's how you can check us out live when we're on the radio. You go to TuneIn and download the app, or you can check out the live streams on nerdtoknowmedia.com or Phoenix 92.5 FM. If you want to get in contact with us, it's very easy. Nerd to Know Media everywhere. Nerd to Know Media on Twitter, Nerd to Know Media Instagram, Nerd to Know Media on Twitch, Nerd to Know Media at gmail.com if you want to reach out via email. Hope to hear from you soon. Check out the Wrestling Rewind here on Phoenix 92.5 FM every Tuesday at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And of course, over on nerdtoknowmedia.com, the only wrestling podcast by wrestling fans who don't hate wrestling. We'll see you then.
Hey, Dara, what are you doing over there in Ireland? Like with the freaking leprechauns and everything. That's not cool. You should be over here with the cosplayers. At least then you could, like, I don't know, pretend like you got, I don't know, some kind of thing going on. Yeah, with you give me a Brooklyn Rage. With you. Dara? Yeah, Dara. Why ain't you over here with Joey? Anyway, we missed you, dude. So, this is Bill Karibo saying, we love you.
I love it. All I do.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.